Hello, my name is Wes Myers. I'm a minister. Marijuana, it led into alcohol, and then it led into harder drugs, pills, and just about anything I could get my hands on. It's hard to say. I think it started off using them recreationally just because the crowd I hung around with, that's what we did. And then it just became a habit of an everyday 24-hour thing. It was just to see how high I could get, to outdo everyone. It was kind of like if I was going to get high, I wanted to get higher than anybody else. It masked all the other stuff. Yes, because what I used to do when I first started off, it was like, buddy said, "Hey, you want to smoke a joint?" Sure. Well, then it was one, then it was two, then it was beer, then it was whiskey, then it was mixing all the drugs and quaaludes and acid and cocaine and just whatever I could get. And it seemed like after a while you just had to have more to get higher. It made me feel wanted because made me feel like part of the crowd. Okay. But then it made me feel like I was something I wasn't. I knew who I was, but the drugs made me feel like I was somebody I wasn't. But it was something I couldn't help. I had to keep doing it to cover up and hide the real pains and problems that I had. Because I didn't want to feel out of place.
Okay.
I had moved into a new neighborhood. I went to smoke a cigarette. Somebody came up and said, "Hey, you want to get high?" I didn't want to look like a nerd or something like that, and I said, "Sure." And that's where it started. I think at first I started doing it just because everybody else did and it was fun, or I thought it was fun. It wasn't until years and years later that I realized that I was doing it to mask some hurt and some pain from things that had happened. Some of it was because I felt insecure. I felt less than, and by doing it, it made me feel important, even to where I would buy and sell here and there, because then it was like, as long as I had drugs and was having parties and going to parties, everybody was my friend. I felt alone, I guess, in a way, and having this stuff made me feel like I was part of something. It was all about what I could get. People used me and I used people. It brought a lot of turmoil to my family. I caused a lot of pain. I feel I was partially responsible for my brother and sister getting involved in it because I was the oldest one. I remember one of the first times I think it might have been the first time I got caught, there was a lot of my family there. And I was very stoned, and I just said I liked doing it, so I was going to keep on doing it. And the reaction of my family was like shocked and like, "Really? That's what you want to do with your life?" And it was a rebellious thing. It was like, "You're not going to tell me what to do." And I know I caused my mom and my dad, and me and my dad even had a bit of a falling out because of it for a short period of time. And I know I caused a lot of anguish, a lot of destruction. The biggest thing I can say about it was all the destruction that it caused. More so probably just me. I was, as I got older, I moved out on my own when I turned 18. And, I was if I wasn't working, I was figuring out how to get high, figuring out how to get drunk, how to do this, how to get this, and how to get that, just so I could stay high, because it was time to party all the time. Financially, it'll eat your money. It will, because you'll get lost in, that's all you'll want is that, and you'll slug off bills. You'll put bills behind, you'll live with other people, you'll do whatever you have to do. and it eats your mind up. You know, a lot of the people that I grew up with are you know, that didn't stop, that haven't seen in a long time, but when I've seen them, they were like walking zombies. They were still living just to get high, or they're dead, or have a lot of mental problems, or they're living very, I don't want this to sound bad, but not productive lives. It's just about trying to survive and stay high. It's hard to say. You know I was in a lot of accidents. I almost died once because of being so drunk that I didn't know I was driving. I was in the hospital because I broke my jaw, flipped a van. I was in I wrecked almost every car I ever had. And, you know, I know as I've gotten older now, some of the repercussions. My memory is not what it should be or what it once was. I did have, you know, because of the lifestyle, you don't eat right, you don't exercise right, you don't do all the things you do to keep a healthy body, and then you end up getting sick, which I did. We had, like I said, when the first time I got caught, it was kind of like a family intervention, and but no, not really. I finally broke my drug habit when I got to a point where I knew it was going to kill me. I knew that if something didn't change, something didn't happen, I was going to die. Because if I was going to do it till it killed me, because that's the cycle that drugs get you into. It's a cycle of not enough, never enough, always need more. And I got down on my knees and I prayed. I told God, I said, look, if you take these things away from me, I'll never do them anymore. And it was a miraculous deliverance from it. Overnight, it was like I was freed from it. I never had a withdrawal. I never had a craving. It was like I had never done it. That was what I prayed. I said, Lord, if you take this away, make it like I'd never done it, and I'll never do it again. And when I woke up the next day, it was all gone. It was like I'd never done it. I never had a desire to go back or anything.